Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Sanaullah, and I'm working at the Learning Technology Center at DAD, Deanship of Academic Development. Today's workshop is about Blackboard Learning Management System and Introduction. It's an online system for teaching and learning at KFUPM. So I welcome you all for this workshop. This is going to be almost a 2-hour workshop in which I plan to give a presentation for the next 10 to 15 minutes, and then we will have a hands-on demo and you will have access to the system and an overview of the tools. This is a basic introduction, so I expect some of the faculty members might be new who are joining us for the first time. I can see some expert users already over here, who have been using it for some time, and maybe they have just joined in to have a look and maybe have some questions and so on. So I welcome all of you. We can have questions in the chat. I'll try to answer whenever I can, or also towards the end we can also have a question answer session. At around 1 hour, we'll have a quick break of like 5 to 7 minutes, and then we will continue. So I hope the pattern should be convenient for all of us. If you have any questions, of course, as I mentioned, you can always mention in the chat or raise a hand for a voice question, and feel free to interrupt, but at least not during the presentation, but after that. Okay, so let me start with the presentation very quickly. We might have some more joining in. So the presentation is about the Blackboard Learning Management System, which is a system for online, which is an online system for teaching and learning at KFUPM. So what I'm going to do today is talk quickly about what is a learning management system, a little bit of information about educational features, a market share, some usage statistics, modules, documentation support, and tools. Before I begin the agenda, let me take a quick poll so that way I can get an idea, and of course, and based on your experience. So just a second, let me just start the poll. Just give me 1 second, please. So the poll is about your LMS experience. Please share your experience with any LMS. LMS can be Blackboard, Canvas, Moodle, D2L. So it's a multiple choice, so you can answer more than one. So if you are a new user, first-time user, you have never used it, that's a possibility. It's possible that you are a graduate student or you have used it as a graduate or undergrad student. That's also a possibility. Of course, as an instructor, and of course, you have any other role like teaching assistant or grader and so on. So I'll give another like about 15 seconds. I need at least like 80% participation. So I got almost a good number of participation, a good number of input from the users. So let me just end this poll and share the results of this poll. So if you can see the result, the results of the poll, the majority are instructor users. So of course they are already familiar, but I can see almost like 30% are first-time users, or close to 30% have used it as a student. So this workshop essentially, so we have a good distribution of almost all the categories, and there are some others who have used it in a different context. So we have a good mix. So I'll try to sort of talk about the tool and the system for new users as well, of course, and I'll talk about from an experienced user perspective as well, as we have some of the majority of the users have already used it. So let me just close the poll. So this the agenda is basically about the LMS from different perspective. So as I mentioned, this session is essentially an overview of basic tools of Blackboard as an instructor. Of course, some other roles will also be mentioned and discussed. For the past 3 years or so, due to fully online teaching, most of us, as an instructor or users who have been familiarized with online teaching and learning, they have become experts and well experienced in variety of online tools, and LMS is one of them. So this essentially will be a review. For the new participants, I think it will be a good introduction, and I'm sure they have used either a different tool or, they might have some sort of overview. At least they have seen it or, seen others use it in the session and so on. So let's hope they have some understanding from a different perspective. So learning management system, just to give a definition, is a web-based application for the administration, documentation, tracking, reporting, and delivering of e-learning education courses. It offers a consistent interface. Now, the interface is consistent with different courses, and of course, it's customizable, but the interface is consistent. It is easier to customize content for different groups of learners. LMS is integrated. All the functions and services are provided within a single point. So you can use Active Directory authentication, or you can log in from portal. So the authentication services are integrated. Then we have some other systems such as, I'll talk about some of these tools such as Turnitin, Gradescope, and other functions. Other systems are also integrated. So everything you log into Blackboard, you have an integrated system. In addition to this, LMS provides technology-based solution to different learning paradigms, such as communication, collaboration, group-based learning, and blended learning. Educational features of LMS include diverse content options in order to address different learning styles. For example, some are visual learners, some are audio learners, some are textual learners. So in order to address these different learning styles, you have different content options. You have course creation tools, you have assessments, you have communication, you have reporting, and so on. I'll talk about some of these tools in detail today, and some of the tools I plan to conduct another workshop about advanced tools, like go into details of some of these tools later on in the semester. And then you're, of course, welcome to join and sort of have a little bit more depth analysis of some of the tools. The educational features that I mentioned include content editor, easy to use interface, full screen mode. You have math editor, fully flexible, available. You have item analysis and quizzes. So you have an at-a-glance analysis, question level details, diagnose and fix. For the grade center, you have color coding, visual indicators. You have needs grading for an instructor. So it summarizes what the instructor has to do. And then you have negative marking, automatic regrading, and so on, especially if you would like to remove a question or give a full grade to for a question for all the students, so you can automate that regrading process. A couple of more features include online assessments. So you have assessments such as timed assessments, you have question reuse and discovery, you have multiple question types, you have almost like 15 types of questions, from multiple choice to essay type to fill in the blanks, to match order, and so on. You have user-centric interface, you have drag and drop user interface, you have expand, collapse, inline grading, and notifications dashboard. So where you'll see all the notifications, whether it be by email or for mobile app, or it is within the course as a course message on the dashboard. Other educational features include active collaboration, such as wikis, blogs, and journals. You can include that in a course. And then you have dynamic content mashup, that is, you can include additional content from outside, such as YouTube, Flickr, and SlideShare. Content from cloud services such as Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox can all be integrated, and they can be used within, especially for students, where they can upload their assignments or some content from cloud services. Then we have some course themes and structures. There are some templates that allows you to do a quick setup guide. You have course structure guide, some sample content themes. And finally, we have easy update and management of files. So you can map network drives, quickly manage files, easy edit of content, and support for Mac and Windows operating systems. This is a very quick look. This is a little bit old, but it sort of shows you a historical overview of different learning management systems. On the top, you can see the open source courses, which are Canvas and Moodle, which are like the more commonly used, and the non open source are Blackboard and Brightspace by Desire to Learn. So these are different learning management systems that have evolved. So if you have experience with any learning management system that you have used either as an instructor or a student or a teaching assistant, most of the tools are very much similar. Of course, they offer similar interface, similar design, just like a different operating system you go, whether for Windows or a Mac, it has its own pluses and minuses. Depending on your use, it allows flexibility and customization. So this is like a summary of the different learning management tools that have evolved over the years until now. So from a Blackboard perspective, just to give a historical information in 1 minute, it started back in '97 and it evolved over different versions and sort of acquired different learning systems, like WebCity was acquired and then it became Vista and then Learn and Learn Ultra Cloud and so on. And the company ownership is also changing. But from an instructor perspective, from a student perspective, this is sort of a background information. The most recent update is Blackboard is part of Anthology, a bigger company that has CRM, SIS, and LMS. So it's a bigger group, and other systems are also included. And Anthology, they have a new logo now, and which also might reflect very soon on our new update for Blackboard soon. Just to give you a quick statistical information, especially after the post-COVID, I know this information is a little bit old, but essentially what it means to say that LMS is being used by faculty members, and they think it's, about 80% of the faculty members agree that it is critical to their teaching. Almost similar from a student perspective. And also, even before COVID, almost 90% were using LMS in some form of the other. So after COVID, it became a little bit more sort of well-defined on how you are using the system. For students, the statistics are also very similar, around 70% that they had a positive impact on satisfaction, productivity, and teaching. Okay, now let's come to the Blackboard modules. And one of the important module from a student perspective is a Blackboard mobile app. Of course, instructors can also use it. They have the full flexibility to upload content, design assignments, and so on. But due to a smaller screen size, typically, the mobile app is more recommended or as a viewer, as a student, rather than as instructor who can design courses. So these were the two apps earlier, but now they have merged the two apps into one. It's called Blackboard Learn. It's a single app. If you have not already downloaded on your mobile device or tablet, you can do that later on I'll show it to you in the next slide. In addition to this, similar to Zoom, they have Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, which is like a virtual classroom online meeting that runs directly in the browser. So you don't need any software or any update. It just runs directly in the browser. However, the new name has been called as Class Ultra, which is like acquired by a different company, but essentially you will get to use a tool that is available to make online sessions similar to Zoom or Microsoft Teams and so on. So if you are interested to download the app, and if you have not already downloaded, you can just scan the QR code for your relevant device, either an Android or an iOS, and you can do that. Also, you can also search for Blackboard Learn in your corresponding App Store or Play Store and download that as well. Let me talk a little bit about documentation and services. And within Blackboard, you have a resources page where most of the resources are listed over there. I try to update it on a regular basis, but sometimes those are not very much updated, but typically they are, functional. We have LTI integration for third-party tools and services such as Turnitin. You have Gridscope and other third-party tools, so it allows for LTI integration. We have also digital textbook integrations, example, WebAssign, Wiley Plus, WebAssign by Cengage, Wiley Plus, McGraw-Hill, and so on. Again, only Blackboard allows you to integrate, but the purchasing part in terms of the access codes and so on, that has to be taken care by the department or the textbook committee in the department that has the authority to purchase the textbooks and the access codes associated with it. So Blackboard allows you to use the system to take care of the digital assignments or digital material that is associated with the textbook. We have Respondus as a third-party tool to create assessments locally on the desktop and upload to Blackboard as one of the tools that is available. We have Turnitin, Safe Assign, we have Blackboard Tips, video online courses, and comprehensive online courses. All of them are available on the Blackboard website, as I will show you in a short while. There are a couple of tools. Of course, there are so many other tools within Blackboard, but these are some of the sort of the core ones or the essential ones that instructors have used most of the time at KFUPM. But of course, there are some of the tools that I might not be missing here. And I will not go over details of each of the tools. Some of the tools I'll go in details in the advanced workshop sometime later in the semester. But I'll talk about some of these tools. But a general rule, as a best practice, it is recommended to use a proper tool for any task. Of course, it might seem very obvious, but sometimes, I'll always give this example where the instructor had used announcements to post grades to students. Of course, it can be done that way, but it doesn't help you in the long run, especially the grade confidentiality is compromised because everybody sees everybody else's grades. Plus, if you post grades in the proper tool, that is using the grade center, you can do other calculations like adding columns for different grades, taking out percentages, and so on. So if you post it in announcement, for example, you might not be able to use it in the way that is designed for it. So as a best practice, it's always recommended to use a proper tool for any task. If you need any support on Blackboard, of course, because it's a comprehensive tool and comprehensive set of tools that you might need for a specific tool or in general. So the first place that you should go is you go for help.blackboard.com. This is an official website for Blackboard Help. And the version that KFUPM uses is called Blackboard Learn Original Experience. The newer version is Ultra Experience, which is still not available because of the national deal. I think they are still working on it to get an upgrade. Hopefully, it will be done sometime in the future. But we will announce it when it comes. So we don't have an exact date for it. But the original and Ultra Experience, the only difference, essentially, if you look from a visual perspective, on the back end, it's almost very, very similar. Like I can say 99 or 95% is similar. The interface is much more fluid design. So you will use assessments very similarly, but the interface looks different. So that's the Ultra Experience that they're talking about. So if when we move from original to Ultra, it's just a matter of understanding the different interface, and that's all, because the tools will essentially be the same. If you face any other issues like access issues or enrollment issues and so on, you can always contact the IT Help Desk or eDesk. This is the URL edesk.kfupm.edu.sa, and you can create an eDesk and somebody will respond to it. Or you can just go to if you log into portal, you have IT Corner and Help Desk. Okay, just one update on, I'm sure most of you are already familiar with this, but let me explicitly mention this. Course enrollments. By default, in the beginning of the semester, all the users that are enrolled in a course in Banner system, that is the registrar or the portal, they are automatically enrolled in Banner, typically in the next synchronization after a couple of hours. So if you don't see any course in Blackboard, typically as an instructor, please have a look in the Banner system if it's already enrolled. Chances are you might not have been enrolled yet by the chairman or by the instructor if you're a student, or if you are a graduate student as a TA and so on. So what happens is basically our source is the Banner and the registrar system where the whole enrollment is replicated. So if you don't see in Blackboard, chances are it's still not updated in the registrar system. And once it's updated, it synchronizes multiple times a day. So sometimes the synchronization takes a couple of hours. So maximum in 2-3 hours, 4 hours, you should be able to see it. Sometimes you might see it even earlier, sometimes maybe a little late, but that's the typical sort of cycle. And of course, this is only at the beginning of the semester. And later on, all the enrollments are updated on multiple times during the day. So if a student gets added to the course later on, he or she will be added, or drops the course, he or she will be removed, and so on. So the bottom line is Blackboard system is synchronized with the Banner registration system. From a course availability perspective, within Blackboard, all instructors, they have to explicitly make the course available. If you do not make the course available, the students will not be able to see this course listed in their course list, even if they are enrolled in the course. However, as a best practice, it's always advisable to upload some content like a syllabus or a first week slides or so on, so that when they log into the course, when they see the course, they will be able to also access the content. Otherwise, if you wish to upload content later on, you can always make the course available so that the student is at least comfortable knowing that the course is there, but the instructor will add the content later on. So both ways are fine. However, I would personally recommend to upload some content and make it available. So at least the syllabus, I mean, that should sort of give them an idea what to expect from the course, and they will see it in the course list. So because we have seen that most of the students complain that the course is not visible to them, they think that they have not been enrolled in the course. So it's possible that the instructor had not made the course available for whatever reason. So at least convey to them or send them a message saying that the course will be available on day 3 or day 4 or whenever it's convenient for you. So just communicate it with your students. Finally, the last slide. If you want to log into Blackboard, you should be able to log in through KFUPM portal and Blackboard, or there is a direct link, blackboard.kfupm, and log in with your portal credentials. Or if you have a mobile app, search for King Fahad. The acronym KFUPM will not work. Search for King Fahad, click on it, and log in with the portal username and password. It is possible that some of the new faculty members, their accounts might not have yet been created. It is because they have to be assigned a course in Banner. And once a course has been assigned to an instructor in Banner, the course will be created. The instructor will be created if not already created. So for first-time users, they might be delayed because either the chairman has still not added assigned them a course, or the registrar has still not updated the list. So it's just maybe a matter of a couple of hours and things should be up and running. If you still face a problem, you can always create an eDesk request, and somebody will try to update you the status of your issue. So let me see if there are any questions in the chat. Okay, Dr. Riyad, welcome. Okay. So that's essentially the presentation. Now let's go on to the hands-on demo. I'll have to turn off my video over here and stop sharing for a minute. Okay, so I'll share my desktop right now. Okay, so I hope everybody is able to see my browser shared screen. Okay. So this is the login page. I have logged into Blackboard. If I just log out, I should be able to just log in, and you should be able to see your courses. Now the courses, now because we have some new faculty members, I'll try to go from a basic interface as well as we'll go into the course. So the basic interface is something like this. You will see different modules, some tools, some courses, announcements, some surveys, and so on. And there is a notifications dashboard. These are two-level tabs over here. One is web courses, my web courses, and one is notification dashboard. My web courses is the place where you see everything. Now this is a two-level dashboard. On the upper right side, you will see three different tabs. The system admin, you will not be seeing it because you don't have privileges for it. But without it, you will see web courses, you will see online courses, and you will see resources page. This is the resources page where I was mentioning that you have different content available for online attendance, Blackboard help, responders, HTML-based documentation from help.blackboard for instructors, for students. We have Turnitin integration, a safe assign. We have Blackboard Ultra, which is basically now a class Ultra, so that it has been updated. If you'd like to merge your sections, you can sort of request, make an eDesk, and that will be done. There is an advanced Blackboard workshop material that is available to you if you'd like to have a look and look at the content. This is a little bit old, but still I think it is functional like 95% of the time. There might be minor updates here and there. Then we have some inquiry-based, a course about inquiry-based learning, help desk, Blackboard mobile app. This is a little bit updated, but if you even download this app and update, it will update you to the latest course and so on. We have digital textbook integration. Most of the major publishers are included, like Cengage, McGraw-Hill, Pearson, and Wiley Plus, and so on. So this is the resources page. I encourage you to sort of have a look. And as I mentioned, the important site for support beside Blackboard page is the help.blackboard. Now, if you go to the help website, the help is categorized based on your role as a student, instructor, administrator, or developer. I mean, from you as an instructor, you will go to instructor or teacher. And then from here, we are basically a college or a university, not professional or K-12. And within university, our tool is Blackboard Learn. Of course, there are other tools such as Blackboard Learn app or Ally and Safe Assign. So we'll go to Blackboard Learn. And within Blackboard Learn, as I mentioned, we have two versions, which is called Blackboard Original View and Blackboard Ultra View. So the Ultra View, it talks about terminology difference in terms of Blackboard Original and Ultra. So there is a little bit of changes in Ultra, but we are not going to include that. But remember that if somebody is talking about Ultra, it might not be relevant in terms of the terminology and the tool names. If you want to talk about anything specific, like the origin, so these are mostly about Ultra. If you want to go for the original course view, go for this bottom one where it talks about original course view, and all the topics are categorized for original course view, like making the course available, how to start a course, how to set up a course discussion, how to take attendance, how to record feedback, copying course, creating content, creating assignments, and so on. So you have different places where you can talk about it. So if you want to talk about assignments, for example, from an instructor perspective, how to grade assignments, download assignments. So it sort of narrows down to a specific examples of what type of grading are you expecting in an assignment, and so on. So it also gives you screenshots, and also there are some videos available, and so on. So I encourage you to go to this help website where it allows you to sort of view a specific tool and details with screenshots and videos. That's one place to go. Of course, there are YouTube videos available, and I think it's available here. I think this link, yeah, I think this is, it's available on the resource page where they call it on-demand videos via YouTube. So it talks about different videos on how to do what, like how to design a course entry point, how to add content to learning modules, and so on. So there are about 100 videos, I think, or 140 videos. They keep adding it and updating it. So you have these videos for most of the common activities and sometimes not so common activities. So again, these are very small videos, like 2 to 4 minutes or less even. So it talks you about how to do a specific activity and so on. Again, as I mentioned, you have to sort of look into it from the original view. And even if you look for the Ultra view, only the interface is changed, but the tool functionality is almost essentially the same. Excellent. So this is essentially about the resources page. If you click on the online courses, these are online courses that were designed and developed in the Deanship of Academic Development. And these are some HTML-based, HTML5-based video online courses that is mobile compatible. So they are listed over here. If you want to go for, these are sorted by department. So if you're interested in any specific course and that was developed, excuse me, over a period of time, just have a look. These courses are self-enrollable, which means you can click on it and you can click self-enroll. There are steps over here. Just follow the steps. You should be able to access this course and it will be added to your course list. Of course, you will not be added as an instructor. You will be added as a student, and even all students or anybody who has a Blackboard account can log into this online course, click on this online courses tab and self-enroll in any specific course. So if you want to go, for example, Math 101 course, it will launch, it has a Math 101 course, you launch it and there is some survey feedback and so on. So you will see the course, it has been designed nicely, it has some layout and a banner and so on. So this is essentially about online courses. Now let's come to web courses, which is the core of the material where we have the courses here. So we have different modules over here. You can personalize the page or you can add modules. Of course, I leave that to you just to try out. There can be more modules, or you can just, play with it to hide the modules or rearrange them to, based on your preference and convenience. The important thing over here is the notification dashboard. The notification dashboard is a place where you see all the notifications. So if you click on edit notification settings, you will see that there are some general settings and there are some individual course settings. You will see all the list of all the courses that you are enrolled in as either an instructor or a student or some other role. For each of this course, you can customize how you want to have the notifications. So if I go for, instead of going one course at a time, if I go into bulk, for example, the courses I'm teaching, I can select multiple courses and the notifications are of three types. Either it shows you on the dashboard, or you will get an email typically, or it shows you on the mobile app if you have already downloaded and logged in and configured the notifications to be on. So there are different notifications for different tools. For example, and if there is an announcement, you always get a notification on the dashboard and the mobile, and so on. Assignment available, due date, and so on. Some of these notifications are essentially for instructors. For example, the assignment submission. If somebody has submitted, you will get a notification that one of your students has submitted an assignment. And some notifications are based on for students only. For example, if there is a new assignment available, or if there is a new grade that has been posted, and so on. So instructors and students, they can customize any specific notifications depending on how they want to do it. Of course, there are two extremes. If you are a course coordinator, you might be enrolled in many courses and a common course with many students. Example, Physics 101, Math 101, and so on, where you have maybe 800, 900 students. At that case, you definitely want to disable email notifications. Otherwise, for every new item posted, you will get a notification. And if 900 students submit an assignment, you will get 900 emails. So you have to either customize the notification by disabling the emails and mobiles, or you can do something like you can edit the general settings and say, make it a daily digest so that I don't get individual messages. I just get daily digest. So it will come sometime later in the evening, like maybe after 10 or something. So you can customize these notification settings. If you want to go to a specific course and sort of change these settings, you can just click on this one. And this is the email, this is the mobile, and you get, so if I want to disable all the notifications for example, this course 192 DAD webinar, and I don't want any email notifications, I'll just disable all of them, and no mobile notifications, and so on. Dashboard is, you cannot disable because you have to log in and check, but some of these can be disabled even on the dashboard, like the SCORM settings and so on. So I want to disable everything and then click submit. Now, when I click submit, it just mentions that these notifications have been disabled for this course. You can individually disable or enable notifications, or you can do it in bulk, like courses I'm teaching, and you can select multiple courses, for example, and you can just bulk change the email notifications or the mobile notification for these three courses and so on, or do select all and change and so on. So that's also possible. So this is essentially about notification settings. So if you want to come back, you always click on web courses, you are back into notifications dashboard. Of course, it also shows the to-do, needs attention, and so on. Just keep an eye on it and see if something that sort of immediately shows up. So let's get back to web courses. Everything clear at this point? Any questions or any concerns? Okay, excellent. So at the beginning of every term, what you see is you'll see a list of courses that you are already enrolled in. So if an instructor, for example, if I go to the registrar website, and if I look at the course offerings and select the current term, which is 241, and say accounting and finance, I can see the instructor is not yet assigned to these courses, but somewhere one or two instructors have already been assigned. So these courses will be created in Blackboard, and as an instructor, if, for example, Dr. Basel logs in, he should be able to see his course for the current term. But if other instructors log in, they will not be able to see their course until the registrar assigns, the chairman gives the list and the registrar assigns the instructor in the system. So just to give an example, I think chemistry department has most of the instructors assigned. Some are still to be assigned, maybe the lab sections, and so on. So chemistry department faculty members have a higher chance of seeing their courses listed over here compared to other department, which is accounting, as we just saw. So if you don't see the course, just be patient. As soon as the chairman assigns it and the registrar makes it listed on their site, it will appear in Blackboard after a couple of hours after synchronization or earlier. Okay. So by default, when you enter Blackboard, you will see something like this. It says, for example, we have this course for this term, 241 DAD workshop, which is I'm going to use this for our activity. And it says not currently available, which means this course is still not visible to students, even if there are students enrolled in this course. Now, the way to see how if the students are enrolled in this course, I'll enter this course, which is a completely blank course. You have links over here. You have a couple of items over here on the upper right side. You can see that course is unavailable to students. And if I scroll down and click on the control panel, users and groups, and click on users, I have registered all the users who have registered for this workshop. So I think it's close to 90, 87 are in the session, but I think close to 116 members have registered. So I think we have about 80% online participation. Of course, they can also log in later on as well and access the course contents. So this is the course list, and even though you are enrolled as a student, you cannot see the course because it's unavailable to students. So as an instructor, it's better to upload either a syllabus or something. So for the sake of demonstration, what I'll do is I will just save this presentation as a PDF file. Okay, I have a question here. When instructor grades an assignment and posts the grade, is there any way that students notify that? Yeah, students usually get notified. They get an email notification. I'll just show it to you in a minute. Just close this. So by default, so this is a blank course. If I go to course syllabus, there's nothing over here. I can build content. That's the easiest way to add a file. Of course, most of you have already tried it, but for the new ones, I'm just trying to, go over this. And I can upload a file, which is Blackboard LMS as PDF, and I'll call it. I'm just copying the same text, and I'm just submitting it. So the moment I submit, there is a Blackboard LMS PDF file. It's under course content. If you have noticed, there was a small gray box, which means this link was empty before, but not now anymore. And assignments is empty, which means this link is empty, and so on. By the way, all links over here are customizable either by moving it up and down or either by renaming it. So if it's course syllabus, instead, I can just rename it, say, introduction, for example. And so these are customizable. And I can move introduction at the top. So this is the first thing that they can see. I can also customize it in other ways. So now there is a new item and the course is still not available to student. Now that I have added most of you, the only thing I have to do is I have to click this padlock icon on the upper right side. Right now it's closed. Locked means it's not visible to student. I'll just click on it. It says course is now available. It shows an open lock. It's a toggle switch. So you click on it once, it becomes unavailable. Click on it again, it becomes available, and so on. So right now I've done that. So you should get an email notification. Let me see. I should also get it. I'm getting other emails also, but I should get it in a second because there are more than 100 emails and it should be appearing in a couple of minutes. So similarly, when you post a grade, you should also get a notification as a student that your grades have been posted. So this is essentially uploading a file. If you want to upload bulk, for example, you can again go for file or an item. In an item, you can upload multiple files. So if I say presentation as PPT and PDF, so I'm going to upload, and I can write some information over here. For example, please see the links below. And I can browse for files. I can upload the 2 files that I just worked on and say open. Both the files are uploaded, and I click on submit. And that's it. I have a presentation. So it should not be below, it should be above. So I can always edit this and I can say above. Of course, this looks very raw and vanilla flavor. So if you'd like to add a little bit of flavor, there are a couple of things you can do. Again, this is again decoration on a little bit and a little bit more sort of making it more visually appealing. So the first thing that you can do is you can change the course theme. From the top right, you can see a course theme and you can try a specific course theme. It's a long list, but let me just use Citrus, for example. So it changes the course theme. So it makes a little bit visually more appealing. Depends on what you have. So for example, this is about technology. So I want to keep it to, for example, technology. So gives me a little bit of flavor about technology and so on. A little bit of color styles and so on. Of course, I feel free to, you can just change it to medicine or some nursing or physics and so on. So it has a couple of, so again, it gives a little bit of flavor in terms of how the course looks like to a student. And if it's relevant, for example, if it's a chemistry course, for example, so I can just put in chemistry and it shows with a chemistry background, or if it's a math course, for example, it shows a little bit of mathematical background. So just to add a flavor. That's one way to do it. Let me keep it to digital learning. So we're talking about Blackboard and digital and so on. So that's one way to do a little bit of enhancement. There are other ways, of course. If you look from here, there is expand and collapse. You can always expand and collapse. And if you want to add more links, I'll just show that to you in a minute. Of course, you want to add a little banner on the top and make it a little bit more familiar, like we are talking about Blackboard. So I want to upload an image that I have. So in order to do that, what I'll do is I will, of course, there are different options over here. I'll go to customization at the bottom, expand it. And under customization, there is teaching style. And under teaching style, you can customize either the menu, the entry point, the course themes. You can see from here if something is more relevant to you, like a better color or better design or better theme and so on. Of course, you cannot add new themes. Most of the themes are sort of well defined, but you can play along with the button style. So instead of text, you can have buttons, and buttons can be, for example, in a little fancy color. So I want something like silver and red, for example. Of course, these are all preferences, but again, I'm just showing it to you. And then I can add a new banner. Let me see if I have any banner that is available. Just give me a second, please. Okay, I have something. So let me just browse, or I can use this KFUPM and submit. And it says course style updated. So now if I click on the course entry point, which is the home icon over here, I can see that KFUPM, I can add any banner, any image. So it gives a little bit more visually appealing and more sense. So now this is green. Let me just put this into green and as well as this into green. So let me go to customization, teaching style. Since we have something green, let me select, for example, pine. I think this looks good. And then I can just add buttons, and in the button library, let me just go for something in the combination of green and white. Yeah, this should be okay. Or green and silver is better, I think. And submit. So now you have a little bit of flavor, green and white, green and silver, and a little bit of green teal at the background. So you can customize based on how the course looks like. So that is essentially pure preference, but again, you should know that you can customize it. Now let's look at different links over here on the left. These links are already well defined. I mean, grouped into category from a content perspective, from a tool perspective. And of course, you can add more tools. So if you want to add more tools to it, by the way, this is introduction is a page, empty page. You can add links. You have course content. You can upload more content. You have assignments, so you can create assignments. And of course, these are all sort of very similar tools with multiple copies. I mean, these are just links or for blank page, and you can add content. And then you have course tools, which is hidden from the student. I think it's not very visible, so I'm just going revert back to the default theme. So Just allow me to get back to the text itself, just plain text. That's why, yeah, I think it's a little bit more visible here. So you have introduction, course content. These are all links. Instructor information is essentially about the instructor and so on. You can add over here and so on. This is categorized based on content. Now, these are some of the tools like announcements, Blackboard Collaborator Ultra, which is Class Ultra. You have blogs, calendars, and so on. So now if you go to announcements, you can create a new announcement and everybody will get an announcement. So if I just create an announcement saying, welcome to the course workshop. Hope that is informative. Okay, so you can just type in something. Of course, you can upload files or add links. So by the way, if you look at, it's a rich text editor, so it cannot be just this way, just make it a little bit more easy to read. For example, change the font, do a little bit of cosmetics. And of course, if you want to add multiple files or add a code to it, for example, if you want to add HTML code, you click on it. And if you are comfortable with HTML style, you can add text over here and do a little bit of HTML sort of tagging. You have accessibility checker. You have, if you want to insert HTML or XML code, you can insert a code sample here. If you want to add multiple files or a link, external documents, you can use this plus sign over here. Now, whenever you do a plus sign, it allows you to insert local files or insert file from content collection. Of course, these are external tools and links that are available that you can also include over here, which I'm going to talk about some of them soon. So if you want to insert a local file, which is like a KFAPM logo, for example, insert local file, and I'm going to insert the KFAPM logo, for example. The logo as an image can be included over here. So you can, this is rich text editor is available almost in all the places where you can upload text for your students. You have a couple of options on how to release it. No date restriction, which means it's immediately available. Date restricted means you define a date and time when this becomes available. So you can display after a certain time and display until a certain time after that. The students do not see this in the course. Additionally, I'm just going to use the default option. Additionally, you can have an email announcement. So specifically, if you say this as an email announcement, so if somebody has even disabled the email in the notification dashboard, if you remember, you can disable email notifications. They will get a notification, but not an email. But if you do this sort of forcefully, students are still notified even if this option is not selected. But if they have not selected the email, if they have disabled the email notification, they will not get it by default. So you have to put a check mark just to make sure that all of the faculty members or all the student users in the course, everybody will get this announcement that's going to go to them. You can also add a course link. For example, if you are saying we will have a quiz next week, please study this course material. So you can specifically link to a course, so you can browse and link for a specific, for example, presentation. So this presentation will be made available as a link. So when they log in or click on the link, they should be able to access it. Now, once I do this and I click submit, I can see that this announcement is listed over here with a date and a time. So this was posted on this date and time by myself and in this course. You will also get an email notification. I think I will also get an email notification, something like this. So I will see something like this. Blackboard notification, welcome to the course, hope this is informative. So you get something like this, and you will be notified because this was a force email. Otherwise, you will get something a little bit more simpler. It will not show the contents. It will just show you, there's a notification, please go to Blackboard and check it out, sort of. So that's essentially about an announcement. And of course, you can create multiple announcements. You can create many announcements, and they keep appearing. You can always edit the announcement, delete the announcements, and so on. It says success announcement created, emails will be sent in the background. So you should also get an email from this activity that I just did. So similar to announcements, we have other tools. Let me just quickly look at Collaborate Ultra, for example. We have class, the new name is class Collaborate Ultra, which is similar to, as I mentioned, like a Zoom session or a team session where you can create a session. Now, there are some pluses and minuses about this Collaborate Ultra or class Collaborate Ultra. Excuse me. The biggest plus is everything stays in Blackboard. So you can create a new session. For example, by the way, this purple sort of interface type is the new Ultra setup that we that is available as a newer version, which will be available later on. So it will look like this. You know, this is the Ultra look basically. So even Collaborate had this look. So you can create a new session, for example, workshop, for example. You can give the date and time, details, and so on. So you create a session, have attendance, and so on, and click on it and say create. So this will be like a Zoom or a team or a workshop session, and it runs in a Blackboard. It runs in browser and Blackboard, and you have recording. And once you start recording, you will see the recordings available here later on. So the big plus is it runs within the course. It is available within the course. The recording is, everything is made available. You don't have to go out, or you don't have to sort of download any application. It runs in the browser. Of course, it has some limitations, like for guest users, you have to explicitly send them URL, because the whole idea of Blackboard Collaborate Ultra or class Collaborate Ultra is it's part of the course. So anybody who is a user of a course will be able to access it easily. It's not typically designed for external users where we have large external participants. For one or two guest users, of course, we have to enable guest access. And once we click save, this link will be generated, and you have to share this link and send it to them through your email. So the objective is it's sort of designed to be contained in the course. So that's where the advantage is. So that's about class Collaborate Ultra. We have other tools like blogs. So you create a blog as a reverse is a collaborative tool that allows students to post their personal reflections about the course, so instructors can create blogs. We have other tools like wikis. Just like a Wikipedia, you can create a wiki, and it allows you to essentially allows students to contribute and modify one or more course page materials. Then we have these notifications. I think notifications is the same as notification dashboard, but these notifications are part of this course only. So you can see there was an announcement. Right now, there is no task, nothing needs attention. However, as you keep adding activities, for example, if you create an assignment or you have an assessment, or if you have any other activity like a discussion board and so on, you will see it over here. I have a question here. It says, can I download the recording sessions? Of course, for Collaborate Ultra, if there are recorded sessions, you can download it, and of course make it public also. Right now we don't have any recordings, but later on, if there are any recordings, you can download it, you can share the link, you can limit the restrictions. So you have all sorts of options over there. So the short answer is yes. So if we look at other tools, for example, discussion board. Discussion board allows you to create a forum. The notifications will be sent to students. Yeah, notifications will be sent to all the users in this course. Now, as I mentioned, if you scroll down to the control panel where you see the users and groups and users, if you click on the users, you will see a list of all users with their email addresses and with their roles. So it will go to all the students. And of course, as I mentioned, if any student has disabled the notifications, they will not see it in their email, but they can always see it in the dashboard or the mobile app. Or if you want to force it, you can always, as I mentioned, send an announcement with putting a check mark that send this also by email. Hope that answers the question. So we have discussion board. Now, discussion board is, again, good way to encourage students to think critically about your coursework. So you can create a forum and a discussion over here. So you create a new forum, you call it forum 1, for example, and you give some description here. Dr. Sir, just I'll come to your question in a minute, just if you allow me, please. Forum details here, make the forum available, some of the standard settings like no grading in forum and so on. So if you can use this forum, and within each forum, you can create different threads or students can create threads and so on. So this is about discussion. I'll come to an alternate tool for discussion in a couple of minutes, but before I do that, let me talk about course messages and send email. Now, if you notice within the course, as I mentioned, course messages, as the name suggests, it stays in the course. So you have an inbox, you have a sent folder, you can create a new message. So if I create a new message to all the recipients, for example, if I just select all the 117, for example, it will go to all 117 recipients. I can type in the subject, again, something like welcome to the course and so on. Let me not send it to all. Let me just send it to top 5, maybe just for the sake of demonstration. So 5 recipients selected, subject is welcome to the course. So we are testing course message. You can add an attachment and so on. And I click submit. Now, once I click submit, you can see that there is a sent message and there was an email that was sent to these 5 users. It will show their names, and you can have a look at the course, I mean the message and so on, reply, forward, and so on. Now, this is very typical. However, if you use the send email is a little bit different than course message. In send email, first of all, it does not keep a record of anything that is being sent, because it goes directly to your Outlook or email, your personal email, which is username @kfupm. So if I send it to all users, it is going from all it's going from my account and going to all users. And I can just say the same thing, welcome to the course, via email. So send email test, and I can return. So this, if I just send it, I know I'm sending it to all the users. It takes a couple of seconds just to send, because you will get this in your Outlook. And there is no record over here that is kept over here to look as if the email is sent, because even I will receive it. So I think it's taking a little bit more time because of the number of users, but it should eventually go through. Okay, while this is being sending, let's talk about, okay, it's sent already. Your email was sent to 117 recipients. Even I should get an email, I think. I'm getting these email notifications that there is new content. You will see something like this, or there is, see, this is for the new content and so on. So you'll again get other emails as well. Or you can send it to groups or teaching assistant or student user and so on. The reason send email is disabled for students is that this is essentially for instructors. But of course, if you want to make it available for students, you can always show this link to the student. So if I just show this, all of you will be able to send emails and see the users. So if you don't want the students to see the list of users and so on, you can always disable this link, and you will see a diagonal beside it, and it says this is not visible to students. Let me just address these 2 questions, and then we'll have a break of about 5 to 7 minutes. The question by Dr. Zohair, how to add a course tool to the entry point. Okay, so entry point is basically the course entry page, which is the first page that you see. So if you click this home icon, right now I'm seeing the logo and I'm seeing these 2 files. If you want to make announcements as the home page, now this is the announcement. I want the students to see it. So I have to go to customization, teaching style. Sorry, I clicked on tool availability, teaching style. And then it says select the course entry point. From entry point, I have to select announcements. Please note that you cannot assign an entry point to empty links. For example, if you notice, course content is an empty link. There is nothing over here. So you cannot go to course content as the course entry point, because essentially it's empty. So I'll make it to announcements, and then I'll click on submit. It says success course style updated. Now, when I click the home icon, I see announcements as the first page. So if I just click on web courses, go out and come back again to this course, I will see announcements as the course entry point. I hope that clarifies it. So to summarize, you have to go to customization, teaching style, select course entry point, select drop down and click submit. I have another question. Each course I have listed are for separate sections. If I teach several sections of the same course, do I have to repeat the steps for each way, or is there a link to sections? Okay, as I mentioned, if you are teaching multiple sections, you have two options. If I look into the resources page, uh, if you can request for course merging. There are two options to merge the course. So one is called course merging, where all the child sections are merged as a single parent section. So you do everything in one course. That way, all the students, you will see in the gradebook that students are added and they belong to a different section. So by default, this is not doable by the instructor, and sometimes the instructor do not need it, and sometimes they are not teaching different sections of the same course. So whoever needs to do that, they can just create an eDesk request explaining that I need my sections to be merged. That's all. There is, by the way, one more option where it gives you an option. Sometimes some instructors say, I want to keep all my individual sections as it is because I do individual activities like attendance and sort of grading, but I need one separate common course for publishing content only, so that I don't upload content in multiple times, but I just want to have something separate and something common. So you can also make a request, eDesk request, saying that I need a separate common section which only for content, and then I still want to keep my individual sections. So that way, if you create an eDesk, that will also be taken care, and that's also possible. So yes. The next question is how to add online attendance to the course tool. I'll come to online attendance and how to upload presentations, use it during teaching time. Let me just take a quick break for 5 minutes, and I'll address these questions once we come back. So I'll see you back in 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Let's meet at 2:10, for example. It's almost 2:03 now. So let's meet at 2:10 and then we'll continue. Okay, I think we are back. It's 2:10. Let's continue. So let me address these two questions. The first question is about how to add online attendance to the course. Of course, there are two tools available for online attendance. One is a built-in tool and one is a third-party tool. Both work fine. I mean, both have more or less the essential features, but of course, it's not the best tool from our experience. Like some of them do not directly show the student username. Sometimes the students have to upload their photos, otherwise it doesn't show. I mean, you as an instructor cannot upload photos and so on, but essentially it does the main job. So there is an attendance tool available under course tools and attendance. So if you click on control panel, course tool and attendance, you should be able to see now attendance. This again, attendance is built-in tool by Blackboard. So it says you have to add attendance explicitly. So I'll click on add attendance. And there are some default settings like present is 100%, late is 50%, absent is 0, excused is, these are the default settings. You can also always change, but I'm going to use the default settings and click on save and then close this. So by default, it will show me all the participants who are listed, but it doesn't show me the ID unless I click from the grade center, not from here. It doesn't show here. As I mentioned, this is a limitation. So you'll see all, and if somebody has uploaded their photos, like I can see Saeed Al-Amoudi, Abdullah Al-Gharni, and so on, if they have uploaded photos, you can see their photos. But as an instructor, you cannot upload photos. So again, as I see that as a limitation. But anyway, the point is attendance is visible over here, and I can make, for example, everybody present either by marking one by one or just click on present, mark all present, and everybody is marked present in one shot. It takes a couple of seconds because the number of users in this course is more than 100. So all are marked present and they get 100% for today. If you want to do it for any other day, you can see overall every day a new presentation comes up. If you want to add it for yesterday, for example, you can quietly hover over the column, between the column, and you should see a plus sign. And if you see plus, it will add for yesterday, or you can make it for a different day. For example, if it was last week, for example, so it was for 15th August, and then you can go for the 15th August and mark everyone late, for example, or somebody is late, somebody is present, somebody is absent, and so on. And then you can just go to the next day or change, override, and so on. And then, every day it sort of shows up whenever you want to do the attendance. Or of course, if you want to do it on a specific days, you have to keep adding for a future date, for example, a different date where you sort of is on 28th, for example, and so on. So you can edit or delete this. For example, if you took an attendance, but it was declared a holiday, so you can just delete this and so on. So this is a built-in direct attendance tool with majority of the functionality, but some features are missing. As I mentioned, you do not see the username, especially if you have same usernames. Like if somebody is, for example, Muhammad Ahmad, for example. So you see two Muhammad Ahmad simultaneously, and you cannot identify them. This is especially the problem with large classes where we can have repetition of names, or in smaller classes. So the way to identify and fix that is you can always go to the grade center, and under full grade center, you will see an attendance, a column for attendance, and you can see who has got 75. So you will see the username also over here, which was not visible over there in the attendance tool. So you have to do a little bit of workaround and look at the grade details, and this was activity as it's listed as a grade center. So I hope that attendance tool is clear from there. There's another tool which is similar, but I think this is built in by Blackboard, so it's a little bit more user-friendly compared to the other one, which is an online attendance tool, and you can go to course tools and click on online attendance, and it is something similar, but a little different, as I mentioned. Just click on it, give it a couple of seconds. It'll show you the whole list. You can order by seat selection, report generate. This is a third-party tool that was not built in by Blackboard, so it's even less user-friendly, and it's a bit old. So you can do the date setup for different days, which days are your classes. So it will create a whole sort of Excel sheet type of thing, and so on. So I encourage you to look at this if you are interested in online attendance tool, or go to the attendance tool that is built in by Blackboard. So both options should work fine. You're asking how to upload presentations and use it during teaching time. Okay, for presentations, as I shown, you can just upload it, but once you upload it, you can, if you view the PDF file, PDF typically opens here directly, so it's always best to upload as a PDF file. And then when you say open in a different window and then go for full screen, I think that's the easiest way I can suggest. So have your files uploaded to Blackboard system, and you can, PDF is always the best in terms of portable because it's a portable document format, and just try to open it in a new window if it doesn't automatically open here. Or the easier option is you can always click on it and it will download the presentation file, and then you can run it from the desktop or the Podium PC. That's possible. I hope that clarifies the answer. How to make attendance visible to students. Okay, students can see if you use the attendance tool within Blackboard, students can see it in the grade center. Now for you as an instructor, you will give grades and you can see it in the grade center for all the students, but the students from themselves, they can see it under my grades. Now when a student clicks on my grades, for example, over here, my grades is essentially for student. Right now it says user with your role do not have a personal grade. So I'll come to this part in just 1 minute. Let me just answer 2 more questions and I'll come to this. How can I upload a recorded lecture? You can upload a recorded lecture in multiple ways. One of the ways is you can upload it to YouTube and you can add a YouTube link or just upload a video. So if you have, for example, if I go to introduction, if you have to upload a video, you can just go to build content. Instead of an item or a file, you can audio, image, or a video. So if you have a video, just click on video, give it a name, browse a local file, search for a video that you have. I think for me, I might not have a video. So by the way, yes, this Zoom session is recorded. So you will have a recording of this later. Yes. So I might not have a video, but the easier method to upload a video is if you have it on YouTube, for example. I think that's, let me give you an example using Mashup, which is YouTube as a YouTube video. So if you have uploaded it on YouTube, just search for it. For example, just search for KFUPM, or if you have uploaded with your name, just search for it. Give it a couple of seconds. Please note that this is downloading from YouTube. So KFUPM introductory video, if I want to select this, for example, and I want to embed the thumbnail, and I'm just going to use the default settings and submit. I will get a video over here, and if a student clicks on it, they will be able to watch this video from the YouTube directly in the course. So the easiest way I can suggest is without putting pressure on the student, because if you upload a large video, for example, let's say if it's 50 megabyte, the student will have to download the video and watch it. So the best answer is upload it to YouTube, have your YouTube channel, and then you can share it from there by just searching for it, searching by name or the key tags and so on. Does BB also support SCORM? Yes, Blackboard supports SCORM. You have SCORM packages. It contains content packages. SCORM, the current version, I think, is SCORM 2004 version that is supported. So just try it out. It should work fine. How to export student names list as Excel? Okay. If you want to upload student names to Excel, the easiest way is to go to the Grade Center. In the Grade Center, you will click on Full Grade Center. Now, in the full grade center, you will see the name of the students. This is like a similar interface to Excel where you have last name, first name, username, student ID, last access when they last accessed, availability weighted to. So these are the columns. If you want to download all these columns, the simplest way is work offline and click on download. Now, there are a couple of more times you have to click this. Like you click download, it gives you option. Do you want to download the full grade center? You want to separate the items by a comma or a tab, or include the hidden information and download it to my computer. So I'm going to use the default settings and click submit, and then I click download. Now, once I download, this will be like a text file. So if I just open this and I open this as an Excel file, it's essentially not Excel, but it's essentially a text file, but Excel can read it. So let me just close this other file. You can see the whole thing as Excel. Also, you can open this file as a notepad file. So you'll see all the students with the full grade center. So even if I have it in a notepad, so if I open notepad and I drag and drop this file to notepad, I should be able to read it because it's essentially a comma separated text, ASCII text format. It might be very easy to read, but essentially, I mean, the layout and the format is not very visually readable, but essentially it's readable so that you can at least upload it back to Excel if you want to add a column and so on. Okay, now let's come to something a little bit more important in terms of the tool functionality. Right now, you are as an instructor. If you look at this course, you're looking at a course as an instructor. You have a home page, you have the center area where you have different tool functionality, you have a header and so on. However, there are certain links that are hidden, and there is a control panel which you have options to work and make changes to the course and so on. How do the students see this course? So in order to make sure that whatever you are doing, you want the students to see exactly how you wish them to see, there is a tool in Blackboard called Student Preview. Now, Student Preview over here on the top right, this is like a dot with a double-headed with an arrow pointing in different directions. It is a student preview. It allows you to view the course exactly how the student sees it. To do that, it generates a new user. For example, right now, my user in this course is as an instructor, I'm logged in as Sanaullah over here as an instructor. And I have about 117 users in this course list. Right now, these many students are in this course with different roles, instructor and student. If I click on this student preview, it basically allows me to see how this course looks like as a student. So when the student gets in, the student does not, the first thing is they do not see the control panel. So they don't have access to make changes to the course, add tools or anything. Even if they click on the introduction, they can see the links, the YouTube videos, but they do not have an ability to change it. Think of it as student is viewing the website and you are designing the website. Think of it that way, where you have options to make changes to the course and add content and add interaction and so on. However, for a student, the student will see this link, they will click on it, they will see the PDF file. Okay, they have access to the content. They can see it in different format. They can click on the YouTube video, they can watch the video. So everything works fine, but they're not able to make changes. And if I click on my grades, there are different grades for attendance, like I do not see any grade given to me. So I can ask my instructor what happened. Now, before I exit, this is the orange bar at the top that controls the student preview from an instructor setting. So if you click on settings, I don't want to delete this user, although I can delete, but I want to keep it so that I look back and forth how I see it as a student. So I'm trying to keep the preview user. I'll show you what exactly I mean. Now, if I exit this preview, and if I come back to users and groups and users, I can see that there is one additional user. Instead of 117, now it's 118. And if I just sort by username, I can see that in addition to me, Sanaullah, as an instructor, there is a Sanaullah called Sanaullah preview user. So this is an additional student user that it created in order just to give grades or do an activity so that you can see it from a student. And when this user is created, you will see a green dot over here in the student preview, which means that preview user is active. If I delete that user, that dot will go away, which means there is no preview user to see the course as a student. Of course, again, this is optional. You can keep trying, keep deleting, keep reusing, and so on. So in order just to see how it looks, I will go to a grade center, for example, and full grade center. In grade center, for a preview user, let me enter a preview user grade. There is no grade over here. Let's say I get 85, for example. As an instructor, I gave 85 grading. Maybe I came late or something to myself out of 100. Now, if I go back to the student preview and I click my grades, I can see that for attendance, I got 85, and it shows the date and time when this item was graded. So the student knows about this, that you have given them a grade and they can see this grade. And of course, there are some upcoming grades, some submissions, and so on. So they will see my grades over here. So this functionality, student preview, can be very useful, especially if you want, if you are a new faculty and if you want to try out different things, but you are not sure if the students see it or they do not see it. Sometimes you give them a grade, you think, okay, I have posted the grade, but maybe the grades are not submitted yet. So you think it's posted, but when you go as a student preview and you see nothing is visible. So this tool actually gives you a lot of freedom to try out things before you actually share it with the students, so that you can be sure of what's going on and how the students access the content. Same thing as a student, I can look at instructional information, nothing is available, so you should add something. And announcements, I can see there is an announcement. Class Collaborator Ultra is visible, but there has been a session created. I can join this session. So I can join the session just like a team or a Zoom session, but I don't want to join it right now, and so on. And you have wikis, it's empty. Notifications, I can make change. I can have a look and make changes to the settings how I see it. In course messages, I've seen that there's nothing for me, or there, if I look at the inbox, there's nothing for me because this user came in late and I was the message was not sent to this user, and so on. Now, if I exit preview, and before that, let me go to setting and just delete this user, for example, and I exit preview. Now, once I do that, this is a grayed, it's grayed out, which means the student preview user is not there. And if I click on the users, I come back to 117 users. So that user has been deleted. There's no more Sanaullah preview user. And of course, I can do it again. I create it. It's like you can test it whatever you want to and keep it active if you want to. I hope that's clear. Attendance on Blackboard, the present has to be done manually or by me. Yeah, this has to be done manually by the instructor. By the way, this is built-in attendance. As I mentioned, this has limitations. This is good for small classes, but for large classes, this is not usually a feasible way. There is an alternate way called QR code, as Dr. Rami asked. Excuse me. There is a QR code which is made available in the Darajati system. So if you go to Darajati system, you have to log in to the Darajati system, and this is an attendance tool that allows you to, you can add courses. It allows you to take allows the students to take attendance through QR code. We will send out an email later this week or early next week about how to use the Darajati system. And this is an in-house tool developed by the IT department, and this fairly works very well for large classes where you want to take attendance by QR code. Of course, there is some limitation that I think sometimes it's not automatically immediately updated. So during the first week, you might see some students missing. You might have to update. Sometimes if your course assignment is changed, you have to request an update, because that does not update regularly as compared to Banner and Blackboard synchronization, which is done multiple times a day. So the short answer to the QR code attendance is yes, please go to Darajati. And from there, you can set up, and it will be added in the first week by the IT department, and otherwise just you have to add courses on your own. For me, I am not assigned it to teach any course, so you can for me it doesn't show, but for you, as soon as this courses become available next week or in Banner, if it's becoming available, it should be you should be able to add it over here. I hope that answers the question. Okay, let me talk a little bit about three more things. So we are almost at the 2:30 mark. We have another 30 minutes. So I want to wrap it up in the next 20 minutes, and then we can have some question and answers at the end if you have. Attendance on Blackboard. I hope I answered that question. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is I want to share just three more essential tools that allow you to take advantage of different functionality. So let me just come to the home page. So if I click on introduction or course contents, for example, if I click on course contents, normally I can add content from here like an item, file, audio, image or video and so on. There are other tools that have been recently added. It's called LTI, Learning Tool Interoperability. You don't have to know the technical details, but some of these tools are LTI 1.3, LTI integration. So these tools are added over here, and you can see it over here. For example, Turnitin Feedback Studio, it's available from here. Earlier, it used to be available from assessments, maybe, or some other assessments. I think it was under Turnitin assignment or Turnitin assignment and assessments. But now most of the tools are connected via LTI, which is the new way to connect. Not so new, but the old one has been disabled. The building block option has been disabled. So all tools have to connect with this. So it will appear under build content. So you have Turnitin Feedback Studio. So if I want to add a Turnitin assignment, I'll just click on Turnitin Feedback Studio. It opens in a new window, and it says launch LTI link, which is basically an external third-party tool, but we have license for it. That's why. Just give it a couple of seconds because it's connecting to the Turnitin website. So you can create an assignment called, for example, co-op final report, some start date and time, some optional settings. This is the start date, which is today at this time, due date is 1 week later, and so on. Then I click submit. It's a success. The tool has been added. And if I click here and I have to refresh, I can see the Turnitin with that icon, co-op final report, and some groups may not have access because the due date has been set. So this is one way to add different LTI tools. So there are other LTI tools like McGraw-Hill, Pearson, MATLAB Grader, LX, and so on. But again, you need to have license if you are using it. For example, LX is used by Preparer Math, I think. MATLAB is used by some specific departments. Pearson is used by Pearson is a publisher, so not everybody has a license key to use it. So just spend some time to see which tools are relevant to you, and you can use these tools. I have a question here. It says, can we categorize the content? Okay, yes, you can categorize the content. I think what by categorization is if you want to upload different files or in a different way, or have a hierarchy. So normally I can upload files, but if I want to categorize, I can say build content and say content folder. So I can say week 1, for example, and submit. So it will be a folder. Sorry for the typo. Let me just fix that. And another folder called week 2, for example. I can give some description. Contents for week 2 and use the default settings, and so on, week 2, week 3, and so on. And then under week 1, I can upload files. It can be item or file. If I upload an item, it can be, for example, week 1 files, for example, some description, or I can just upload a couple of files. Let me just use ones on the desktop, I think. For example, these 2 files. I can upload many files at the same time. For example, if I have 3 files, for example, so I can have 3 files, and so on. So you can, yes, you can categorize based on how you want to see the course. If you have any specific activity in mind, for example, if it's a project-based course, or if it's, for example, a different, like a lab course instead of lecture course, there are some sort of customizations where you have a quick setup guide. In quick setup guide, you can choose a course, choose a course structure. So there are built-in menus. For example, if I choose this course for an activity, it sort of creates a menu this way, or if it's a case study, a different type of menu, or if it's a lab format, a different type of menu, and so on. So the short answer is yes, you can categorize. Have a look at this quick setup guide, and you should be able to sort of understand the different categorization methods. I will not make changes to it because it will disturb my setup, so I'll try to use the default setting. So that's about LTI tools. But if you want to use the built-in tools, for example, the tools that we have already available here, assessment tools, so you have tests, surveys, assignments, and so on. You can use these. You can create a test, you can create a survey assignment, or you can create different tools like discussion board, journal, wikis, groups, tools area, and so on. And if you click on more tools, you will see different tools like Gradescope is connected, Zoom meeting, Wiley plus courses, Pearson evaluation, Class Ultra, Blue Pulse. So different tools are there. I will not go over it, but at least I'll show you that these are available and you can use it. I'll go maybe over one or two just to give you an idea. So normally what happens is, as I mentioned, you can have a discussion board. So if I click on a discussion board and I had created one forum, so I can just either link or select a discussion forum or create a new forum. And I click next and I just use the same name and I click submit. So this will be added on my page for the students to see it. So it's more visible, more immediately accessible over here. And if you want this forum in week 1, for example, you cannot just drag and drop, you can just move it at the top. But if you want to move it inside week 1, for example, you have to click on it and say move. And the destination folder, I can browse and select week 1, for example, and I click submit. That way, if I go to week 1, I will have a file and then I have a forum to discuss about these files that I have given. So you can keep adding content the way you like with different sort of tools. So there is a lot of flexibility. You have to keep trying out a little bit and you will get a hook of it in terms of what to upload. Let's try to create one assignment just to get you a feel of it, a feel of one of the tool. So now I can create assignment over here. If I go to assessments and assignment, I can create over here, or I can create it on the main course content page over here. Or even better, since we have a link over here for assignments, it's essentially a blank page. I can create an assignment over here. So let's do the assignment. Let's create an assignment called introduce yourself. So as an instructor, I will go to assessments and click on assignment, and I have to give some essential information. I am creating an assignment. So let's say introduce yourself. I want to keep it short. Introduce yourself and please share something about you. And I can attach a file. Let me attach a file just for the sake of demonstration as a PDF file. And I can give a due date. Let's say I want it by today, maybe let's say 3 p.m. for example. Points possible is 5. Submission details, I want everybody to submit individually, unlimited attempts. Let's not worry about it if you cannot upload or uploaded something wrong by mistake. Grading options, I'm going to use the default settings, make the assignment available and so on. So by default, it's available, no hiding or no making it limited, and I click submit. So immediately you can see that there is a new assignment, introduce yourself, use self. Let me just fix that. Sorry for the typo. Yeah, this is better. So please share something. Now, as an instructor, when I have created assignment, if you go to the course and you click on it, so how do you see it? I'll show you how do I see it. I go to student preview. I click on assignments. I say, oh, introduce yourself. I click on it. If you can see, I do not get a chance to make changes to it. I just have an option to upload. So please share something about you. This is the PDF file that I shared. So you can see it if you want to, what I want you to share. Create a submission. So you can type it, or you can upload a file. You can browse a file, of course, from either content collection or a cloud service. As I mentioned, you have different cloud services like Google Drive, OneDrive, Box, and so on, and add comments to it, and so on. This is the deadline. This is the possible points. So just for the sake of demonstration, I am the instructor for this course. And that's all. I can upload a file. Let me upload a PPT file just for the sake of demonstration that this is my submission. I'm writing something, and I can add a comment saying, Thank you, for example. And I click on submit. Now, once I submit, I am the instructor for this course. This is visible. I can click over here. I can see how the submission is coming to my, I'm still seeing everything as a student. So it's sort of, if you can see, it's sort of messed up a little bit layout. So sometimes you say, okay, I want to start new. So you have multiple options. So you might want to convert it to PDF and upload and so on. So you can start new and so on. So I will get a notification, okay, that I have uploaded it. Let me just exit the preview or click on my grades first. Introduce yourself. I have submitted. There is a yellow sign which means needs grading. That now the instructor has to grade it. Now let me exit the preview. Now once I exit the preview, I will go to the grade center and full grade center. I will see that there is an assignment called introduce yourself. And if I just, oh, I'm sorry, I just deleted that user. So let me just redo that. Excuse me for that. I forgot to keep the user. So let me just save it. I'll go to assignments, introduce yourself, create submission. And the instructor, just upload a file, browse local files. I'll upload the PPT and add comments. Thanks. And just make sure. I just clicked on it again. So sorry about that. No, but I still, did I save it? I should have clicked submit. Instructor, upload a file, PPT, and click submit. Okay, I've submitted it. I see everything. It's being converted. And in the settings, I'm not deleting it. Okay, now we are okay. Now if I exit the preview, I can see that I have submitted it. And if I go to the full grade center as an instructor, I see a yellow circle, which means needs grading, that I have submitted. No one else has submitted. If somebody has submitted, I can see their assignments also. And I click on this attempt. And I can see the submission. There is a PowerPoint presentation. There is a comment. There is a submission text. You can see exactly how things have moved. So just to summarize, you can, as an instructor, create an assignment. As a student, submit an assignment just to make sure things are working fine. And then as an instructor, grade. So out of 5, I'll give 5, for example. So as an instructor, I'm giving the grade 5. Please add more content, for example. So let me give it 4, for example. And I click submit. So now as an instructor, I have given the grade 4. Now if I go back as a student, I will click on my grades. I can see that I got 4 out of 5. And if I click, I'll see the feedback, please add more content. So it completes the full cycle. So you, as an instructor, you create an assignment. As a student, you submit the assignment, and then you grade and you give feedback, and the student sees the feedback. So this essentially how it works as an instructor and student combination. Like, you will essentially take the role of instructor, but you have to understand how the students will see the course and respond to the course. I have a question about how to create a grading rubric. Okay. For a grading rubric, it can be created in 2 ways. If it's an assignment, if you are giving an assignment, you can create it within the assignment. For example, if I click on edit, there are some built-in rubrics available. You can add an associate, add a rubric. So you can create a new rubric or select a rubric which is already created. Right now, there are no rubrics created, so you have to create one. So what I'll do is I will create a new rubric, and the rubric can be grading essay, for example. I'm sure you know the meaning of the rubric. Rubric is essentially it's a grid list that criterias and levels of achievement. For example, if I'm grading an essay, the default ones are novice, competent, proficient. It gives you a template. Of course, you can make changes to it, edit this column or delete this column or add multiple columns. It is doing something basic. I'm going to use the default one: formatting, organization, and grammar. So right now it's a 3x3 matrix, and I'll click on submit. So there is a grading essay rubric that is being used. You can see how it looks like. So I'm having, for formatting, it's 33%, organization is 33%, and grammar is 33%. And you are basically giving the student information how you are going to grade this rubric. So I hope that answers the question, and you can add it over here. That's one way to do it. Otherwise, if you go to course tools, you can see rubrics over here, and you can essentially create a new rubric or import a rubric from a previously created. So if you need more help, what should you import over here? You can always click on this contextual help, which shows you help related to this page. So I don't know what format I should upload. So I'll click on this question mark. Sorry, I'll click on, there is a help over here, I think. No, the question mark shows it. Yeah, sorry, more help over here. If I just disable this, it goes away. It says more help. The rubrics can be imported in this way. So consist of rows and columns. So import rubric on the action bar and navigate to the zip file. So it has to be a zip file if you want to upload it. So if you export this, you will get an idea of how to import a rubric. There should have been a little bit more help on the rubric on how to import it, but I think you'll have to try it out, I think. I hope that answers the question. Let me talk two more items that I have to talk, which is very important, I think, from a course usage perspective. One is course copy. If you're teaching for the first time, that's fine. But if you have taught a course before in previous semesters, you might want to copy the contents, especially so that you can reuse the content. So in Blackboard, you can do a course copy that allows you to copy content from a previous semester to the to a course in a different semester or same semester. So in order to do a course copy, you have to essentially go to the source course. So let's see, we want to copy the contents of this course into another one. So this is the source course, and I can go to customize, I can go to packages and utilities and click on course copy on the bottom left side. Now, once I click course copy, it says course copy can make an exact copy of your course and can select specific material or a new material, but you should have permissions. For example, if you are an instructor for the course of the source course, then you can copy it. Otherwise, of course, you will not have access to it. So in order to do that, you have to select an existing course and you have to give a destination. So right now we don't have much in this content. So what I'll do is I'll go to another course and copy some content from that course to this course. So this is the destination course ID, and I have to go to the source course. So if I go to some other course from the previous semester, for example, let's copy something from a previous course where I had uploaded, for example, some content over here. For example, week 1, I think I had something very similar. Let me copy this course content directly in, and there are assignments over here. So what I'll do is, let me just go to packages and utilities, course copy into an existing course. The destination, I have to browse. Let me search for the new course, which is called 241, for example, and search. This is the course that is the destination course. And instead of selecting all, let me just copy the course contents. I can copy almost everything. If I say everything, there will be duplicates. It will not delete anything. It will just add multiple versions to it. So I don't want to copy it. So I'll just copy, unselect all. I'll just copy the course content and I click submit. Now, once I click submit, it says success, course copy has been queued. An email will be sent when this is complete. Now, if I go to this new course, which is the current course, I can see that this is the source, this was the source, and this is the destination is complete. I can just close this. Now, if I click on course contents, I will see multiple versions. You can see this graduation ceremony was not there. Welcome, everything from welcome to the course is from the other course that I just copied. It has similar content because, again, it's a similar course that was used previously. So this is about course copy, and I think this is very important, especially if you are teaching or you're repeating the course, I mean, teaching the same course again in different semesters, you can copy at least the essential ones, and then you can make changes, update it, and so on. The last thing that I want to show before we, sort of wrap it up, and we'll have some time for questions. I think some of the questions are already asked, but still we'll give some time, is about export archive. If you go to the end of the course, you will see export archive option. Let me just, is this the course? Yeah. So export archive is a good option if you want to somehow take a backup of, because Blackboard is a learning management system where we have a limitation on how many courses, for how many years the course will be visibly available to you. We have not deleted anything, but again, because of the limitation on the number of courses that can be shown on the page, you might have to hide some courses. Sometimes you want to reuse the content by downloading. Copying is one method. There is something called export and archive. Export allows you to create an export package of all the content in the course. So you can just calculate the size. So this is just 31 megabyte. You can select everything and say submit. It takes a couple of minutes just to create an export package. Export allows you to download that file and use it in a different course where you have an option to import a package. So the other option is import package view logs. So this is the place where you import a package and you get all the content that you have downloaded from a course package. Archive is a little bit, you can see export has been available. This package will be available for 30 days before it is automatically deleted. So it automatically sort of deletes. So you want to download, keep a copy, just as an additional method to have your courses with you in case if you are using a different course this semester, you want to keep a copy and so on. Archive course is a little bit more information about the student. So it saves the student grades and history. So the file size goes higher. So it is also very similar, but it takes more time and it has more information, like student information and grades. Again, you have to restore this archive back to a course, so you will get everything as it is, because the export one does not have the student information. I have one more question, is how to conduct a quiz. Quiz is something a little bit more detailed. It's difficult to cover it in introduction workshop. But what you have to do is click on this assessments, click on assessment and create a new test. So when you create a new test, you have an option to give it a name, for example, quiz 1, for example. And once you create a quiz, you can add different type of questions. So if you have multiple choice question, for example, something question title is multiple choice 1 question. This is the question title. Let me take something simple. What is the capital city of Saudi Arabia? You have 4 options. This is the correct one. These are incorrect ones. Or you can just remove this answer. So you just have 3 options. And you can just say submit. So you got a capital. By the way, this is one way to create manually. You can upload questions in bulk. So if you have a text file or an Excel file where there is more help on guidelines, how to do a batch file or different types. And then you can bulk upload what is the point for each. And once you do that, you can use the same quiz to submit. And there are options when do you want to make it available to students, add an announcement, multiple attempts for completion, set timer, and so on. Again, as I mentioned, this requires a little bit more detailed workshop on quizzes itself. Maybe randomized questions, prohibit backtracking. No, I was just this one question anyway. And I click submit. So the quiz is created by 3 steps. First, you click on, so now this is beginning of test and it sort of randomizes it because we didn't randomize the answers, I think. save and submit, it shows you. I used all the default settings. You can also always, it has quite some options available. You have to try that out. This needs a little bit more detailed. Maybe we can have one-to-one session if somebody is interested, or I can do a workshop just on test and quizzes later on. So that's essentially from my side. If you have any specific questions, we'll have a couple of minutes and then we'll have to wrap it up around 3 p.m. So thank you all for attending. If you have no questions, you may feel free to sign off. Otherwise, we can stay for a couple of minutes and then we can see if I can answer some more questions that you might have. So thank you again, and I'm waiting for the questions. Of course, I will. You already have access to the content in the Blackboard course. I will share the recording, hopefully very soon, so that you will have access to this recording later on. And of course, if you have any specific questions, as I mentioned, visit the help website or create an e-desk, or please feel free to contact me. You have my information through the email, or you can just search me in the directory by email, and you'll have my contact number. And then we can see if there's anything specific that you can address. Of course, if you need a specific standard service like merging of sections or anything related to course, you can always create an e-desk, because more than one person looks at it, and you should be able to get. My contact number is 1630. Landline number, you can always contact me. The easiest way to remember is 4:30 p.m. in the evening. 1630, you can contact me. And but it's always better to make an e-desk. That way it's better tracked, because sometimes I get a lot of emails and I might miss an email, maybe due to oversight, or maybe it requires some more additional sort of background work. So e-desk is the best way to reach, because we have a service level agreement. e-desk has to be closed in like 2 to 3 working days maximum. And even if we look at it daily, on a daily basis, so that way, even if something has been missed out, we can always see, or somebody reminds us, or somebody takes care of it in case if I'm not addressing that immediately. So the best way, the first thing you should consider is always use e-desk for a faster and a better response. So that's all the time we have. I don't see any specific questions. Thank you all for attending. I really appreciate your time and your participation and your questions. And I think it was a good sort of introduction to Blackboard. I presume, I hope most of you have at least sort of revive, for the newcomers, for the first timers, it's, I think, good introduction. But somebody who has used it previously, I think it's a good recap of all the essential tools and functionalities. So thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording now.